6 million of Jews have been burned, and they were alone. And Europe could do something they didn't do. Nobody did. We were alone. We were burned. We were killed. You know that for many years I never wanted to go to a church because it was a Christian place. And I never met Christians. I didn't want to see them because of my history, which maybe one day I will tell you the history.
Zvi Givati has always tried to meet the needs of those that are in need around him. And I have always found this to be a very inspiring quality, character quality in Zvi. And he has done perhaps more than any other living Israeli to foster good Jewish-Christian relations in a difficult time.
His not only inspiration, but his influence on me is through everything I do in my life. His image is always, as I mentioned, like a torch.
Like I said, when you think of Zvi, a smile comes across your face. You've known people like that.
I always think that if there's somebody that Israel could hire to make a good first impression on what an Israeli is, or who Israelis are, Zvi Givati would be the man for the job.
Zvi Givati was an extremely admired person by all of us kids. To the students at the school, he was a very special example for us.
I just think on behalf of the ICEJ, we just all want to extend to Zvi our warmest appreciation and gratitude for what he did for us. And we just love him, we appreciate him so much, and we just want to say thank you, Zvi.
I could tell that Zvi liked me. This man made a huge difference in my life. He taught me how to read and write. He gave me the chance I needed when I needed it, and I will always be thankful.
And I think we can really say that we've known a great man. Why? Because really in Zvi's era of time, the word defeat wasn't even in his vocabulary.
And when I would look at him, I would see this man is a fabulous father. Has to be. So one evening we were sitting with him in our home in Miami, and we had talked previously, and we wondered, will this be offensive to him? But at the end we asked him, from now on, can we call you Abba Zvi? And as sweet as he is, I don't know what he was thinking at that moment, but he said, of course you can call me Abba Zvi. And from that day until this day, we have always called him Abba Zvi because he's been such a father to us.
I think you were the catalyst. A catalyst like you, one doesn't find every day. For that, I want to thank you. There's an ancient Jewish proverb found in the Bible that says, "A merry heart does good like a medicine." Zvi Givati's life of positive actions, coupled with his unique sense of humor, bring joy, health, and vigor to people in Israel and indeed around the world. But before Zvi could change his world, he had to change his heart.
I carried this hatred, this fear from Christians, this antipathy towards Christians. And you know, for many years, I was the director of a jail later. Then every time I heard that a Christian is coming, a distinguished visitor have to come, I took a day of holiday and said to my deputy, you take over and take care on that. I said, why? Well, we have a Christian guest, they knew already. This is one part.
Throughout his life, Zvi always worked hard to maintain his friendships with all the people around him in all positions. I think I had the privilege of knowing a very special person. That special person is Zvi Givati.
The unique thing about him is that everything he does is not for the sake of being rewarded. He is someone who cares, someone who wants to help, a man of benevolence dedicated to giving.
What Zvi creates is a very narrow bridge, but still it is a bridge between this community and yours, which is a magnificent and highly esteemed community in the town of Ramat Gan. He has also accomplished similar things in other parts of Israel. It is unforgettable, and all I can say is that this is a way of life that I envy.
I'm jealous.
I'm jealous. He has found a mode of positive action in spite of the world of cynicism prevailing here in Israel and abroad. These are people who do things for the state of Israel and her people from a pure heart, and I am very glad that I can say thank you on television.
You want to ask more questions?
No questions. No questions. Believe me, no questions.
Zvi also helped coordinate the establishment of a vitally important cultural center in Ashdod for new immigrants to Israel. This new center of activity, funded by the Finnish branch of the embassy, is named Beit Eitan after Zvi and Esther's son Eitan, who passed away suddenly in 1992.
And this cultural center receives every day 350 new immigrants from Russia. And they call it our second home.
As a new immigrant myself, I came here only 18 years ago, and for the last 10 years I've been responsible for immigration and absorption of new immigrants here in Ashdod. It's thanks to people like Zvi Givati, who connected the Christians around the world and the immigrants here in Ashdod via the municipality. Thanks to him, we have an activity center, or should I say a warm home for new immigrants. He was the one who saw to it that the donations of the Israel-loving Christians in Finland through the International Christian Embassy would create Beit Eitan in memory of his son, Eitan Givati. From morning till dusk there are activities here, and I know this is the best home for the immigrants of Ashdod. Sometimes one can forget who helped to accomplish all this, but we must remember that it's due to people like him that there are such projects, not only in Ashdod, but all over the whole country.
It is all the time, it's like a beehive there. This could be done with the help of the Christians in Finland, Dr. Ulla Järvileto, by the Christian Embassy, of course. The Christian Embassy in Finland and the Christian Embassy in Jerusalem. And we followed it. This place is working until now. Many municipalities in the country are sending delegates to come to study how are we running this institution. It's very interesting.
Anyone that knows the history of this relationship coming together, the two tracks coming together in these days, I think that they have to realize that there has to be people from both camps. People that are Jewish that come from one side over and embrace the Christians that are coming on to the other side. Without that, there's almost, it's an impossibility really to develop those relationships in a lasting way. Any time that Zvi would go out and speak or be in a church or be with other people, it was amazing to see the melting of hearts. And I think on the other side, when he would represent Christians to this country, there'd be a lot of scratching of heads like, who is this guy and where's he coming from? But when they find out he's been an Israeli general, that he's gone through all that he's gone through, and yet he would stand up for these Christians, people have to stop and take notice. There's something going on here. So the credibility factor of Zvi Givati between Christians and Jews is insurmountable. I mean, it is an amazing thing that a man of his stature would come and embrace the Christian world and bring them into his world.